We take a look back at last Friday night in the high school football landscape in mid-Missouri, and the California Pintos high school football team recognized 11 seniors before their home finale Friday night at Riley Field. One of those 11 seniors, a quarterback who unfortunately is sidelined with injury for the rest of the season. KOMU 8's Joey Schneider reports how this player took to Riley Field one final time despite suffering a season-ending injury.
When it comes to football, your last chance to play may come before you even realize it.
I went to cut and miss a guy, and then I just got hit, I guess just right as I planted, and just kind of popped a little bit.
Wolken has missed all of what would have been his third and final year as starting quarterback after tearing his ACL in summer football camp.
Hit me pretty hard, I guess, because you grew up with football and put in all the work for it, and then your senior year's just gone.
Wolken has not been medically cleared to play this season, but on senior night he captained and started one final game for the California Pintos.
I took the pads off after I got hurt, and I never really put them back on until that night.
The Pintos let the clock roll and took a delay of game penalty, but emotions, hugs, and tears followed soon after.
I tried to keep it together as long as I could, but being out there with the guys again, it just kind of got to me.
California's first-year head coach stood behind his decision to start Wolken one final time.
Well, last year I had a kid have a similar thing happen to him during the jamboree. He got hurt, never really got to experience it throughout, and I remember walking off after senior night going, I wish I could have gave him something more.
It was a familiar transition that allowed Wolken to earn all-conference and all-district honors in the last two seasons.
He had to step up and be a quarterback when he was a sophomore because one of the seniors got hurt then.
The injury hits home for Wolken's longtime friend.
I could feel for Jacob because last year my season was ended the first part of the season, and I just know how that feels. It sucks.
And his father, who works the chains.
I started my freshman year because somebody else in front of me got hurt, and then started, the other 3 years also. And then my senior year, I broke my ankle, so same thing. Yeah.
Throughout his recovery, Wolken has still been one of California's most active leaders.
When he got hurt, he was still coming to practice and still doing things to help out the team. Jacob and the rest of his senior class, they're kind of laying the foundation for what we want California football to get back to being. And, he's a prime example of that, just coming here, doing what he can.
Wolken eyes a possible return to basketball and a full recovery by baseball season, but hopes his legacy with athletics carries on even longer in his hometown.
I can look back on my experience and say that I just put it all out there and did everything I could while I could. I hope some little kid somewhere sees that and they grow up and play hard and just take the game to heart, because it can be over before you know it.
Joey Schneider, KOMU 8 Sports, California.
All right, Joey, thank you very much. Jacob Wolken hopes to attend Mizzou next fall to pursue a career in mechanical engineering. Right now, he is part of California High School's National Honor Society and also involved as an FFA member outside of school. What an impressive and well-rounded young man, Jacob. Good luck to you, certainly, as you recover from injury as well. In Georgia to battle the Bulldogs in SEC play on Saturday night. The Missouri Tigers, of course, had suffered a loss against Kentucky a week ago on the road, and we're trying to get back in the win column, albeit in a difficult place, Athens, Georgia. KOMU 8's Joey Schneider takes us through another road trip for the Tigers and their offense in Athens, Georgia, which might actually offer positives going forward.
The Tigers felt confident in their game plan when they elected to receive the opening kickoff between the hedges, but didn't fall in place immediately with 2 3-and-outs to open the contest.
I was hoping we could get a little more pressure there early on a couple things, and it didn't happen.
With some help from the defense, the Tigers started their third drive in the red zone and kept close with 3 consecutive touchdowns against the Bulldogs.
We were going to take our shots. We were going to go at them. I think we saw that. We started adjusting a little differently. We adjusted as well.
At the 37-yard line, that's a long distance to cover, but Drew Lock did that twice with 2 passes to Emmanuel Hall. Lock also had a pair of touchdowns to 2 tight ends.
When you beat the DB a couple times deep, they start dropping. That leaves, underneath passes like comeback and things like that wide open. And I think we did a really good job of exposing, their DBs a little bit.
Keeping up with the SEC's second highest rushing offense was a different story, as Mizzou rushed for a season-low 59 yards.
Sometimes, it's going to fall in the hands of maybe the passing game, and sometimes it might even fall in the hands of the running game.
And with the health of young playmaker Demaria Crockett to be determined, Where exactly does the offense go from here?
We just got to hit those underneath passes, and we got to make more plays to win games. We need to work better on getting that first down. I feel like when we get that first down, we move the ball pretty well.
It's hard to walk out after a defeat like that and feel good about much of anything, but we're making progress in a lot of areas that I was waiting to see. We're far from being where we need to be, but I'm also excited about making a push for these last 6 games, see where we can end up.
With the last top 25 opponent off schedule, the offense will look to sustain its momentum in back-to-back non-conference games. Joey Schneider, KOMU 8 Sports, Athens, Georgia.
Joey, thank you very much. Joey mentioned Missouri's next couple of games out of conference. Mizzou will host Idaho in the Tigers' homecoming game Saturday morning at 11 at Furrow Field, and then make a trip to Connecticut to play the Huskies. That game time will be determined tomorrow. That game will be played Saturday, October 28th.
Mizzou Wrestling travels east to take on the Virginia Hokies and the Virginia Cavaliers starting tomorrow. The team is off to a 4-0 start, and one familiar franchise face is making a difference to that undefeated start. It was only 9 months ago that Jaden Cox played his senior day match at the Hearn Center. And after graduating last May, the Columbia native has found a new way to give back to the program.
I get to learn from people that I've been around, and that I knew how they worked in one way, and now I get to learn in a different way how they work.
As a volunteer assistant coach, Cox helps with a little bit of everything from player support to advanced statistics.
I was, doing stats and trying to figure out everything from, how many takedowns they get, when they get away, escapes and everything like that, and we can use that to our advantage as well.
The coaching transition has been a relatively easy one for the 3-time national champion, who also took a bronze in the 2016 Summer Olympics.
As a competitor, it still hasn't really changed for me because I still compete. I mean, the style's different, but as far as what these guys go through and what they're, the chip on the shoulder, I still want to go through that with them.
His experience has translated well with a familiar coaching staff.
He's a caring person and cares for his program and his teammates, and so for him it just comes natural that I'm helping my friends.
And a team returning more than 20 players.
It's a blessing he's still here, helping us out, still doing great things for the program.
Even without its second winningest wrestler of all time on the mats, the expectations may be higher than ever for the program.
I think that's more of a blessing that, the wrestlers and everything, people I've worked with already, I know what they're capable of. They're very intelligent. It gives me another level of respect and admiration from them.
Jaden Cox is the only 3-time national champion in Mizzou wrestling history. His 136 wins are the second most for the wrestling program. And that's sports. Bocce ball is one of 21 sports offered to Special Olympics Missouri athletes. The game is one of many that could see growth after construction broke ground on Missouri's Training for Life campus nearly 7 months ago.
It's an opportunity for people with intellectual disabilities to come to this campus and train in the sport they love, or find a new sport that they never even heard of because maybe it's not offered in their area.
A plan nearly 10 years in the making could become a reality as soon as next fall. Once completed, the 34,000 square foot Mecca in Jefferson City would be the largest Special Olympics venue in the United States.
Being able to bring kids and adults from across the state of Missouri into one place to learn and teach them. And I think that's the unique part.
The potential for easier commutes, stronger resources, and more competitions gives the campus plenty of excitement for athletes.
You get to travel less and the opportunity. You meet new mentors. It helped them out.
In recent years, Special Olympics had been limited to an annual athlete leadership program and a yearly summer camp at various mid-Missouri schools.
A lot of times we struggle getting practice facilities. Right now we just have one camp a year for a solid week.
But with the new Training for Life campus,
instead of just having that camp once a year, we can have that camp on a smaller scale, but have that camp maybe 20 or 30 times a year.
While Central Area serves athletes in 30 counties, the new Special Olympics campus has an opportunity to make an impact beyond mid-Missouri.
The people within the Jefferson City area are going to be astounded as to what we can do with this campus for not just our 15,000 athletes that we have around the state, but the 100,000+ people with intellectual disabilities in the state who aren't yet involved in Special Olympics.
Joey Schneider, KOMU 8 Sports, Jefferson City.